Hi, I'm Malachi, and right now we're on our way to the Rita J. Martinez Leadership Conference at CSU-P.
Madrina Vega. I am originally known as Madrina Ortega. Our family Ortegas have a long generational line of movimiento work, and what it means to us is the learning and preserving our indigenous culture and preserving our traditions and to keep it going, to share what we know, the little bit that we know.
So Rita Martinez was actually one of my very first mentors when I got involved in Chicano activism as a high school student here in Pueblo. Rita was actually the person who helped me start a Mecha chapter at Centennial. Mecha is Movimiento Estudiantil Chicano de Aztlán, the Chicano student movement, and Rita was one of the people who helped us create that group when I was a high school student.
What's that movement all about?
It's all about getting young raza, young Latinos, Chicanos, Chicanas to become aware of who they are and to make a change in the community that they live in.
I think, to me, it's the face of a new generation that's coming about. And one of the things I saw tonight, watching the audience, is seeing a bunch of faces that are looking for a new identity for themselves. And in many ways, it's a reminder, for me, it's a reminder of the beginning of the Chicano movement in the 1960s. I look at those faces and they're young and they're just beginning their lives and the things that they're about to encounter in life. There's a world out there, faced with racism and segregation and all those things that are taking place. And somehow in the middle of that, we have to find an identity for ourselves.
And were you part of that Chicano movement?
Absolutely. I was 17 when I went off to Delano to work in the farm worker strike, and I didn't have any politics. I didn't have anything. I went there to support the farm worker strike. Cesar Chavez, who used to run around with my primo when he was 17 years old. He was a zoot suiter. So we had these connections, right, that I didn't know anything about. It woke me up, man. And I went there unable to speak Spanish. I couldn't, and then I was working in the fields as a picket captain. In many ways, it was relearning who I was. That gave me a sense of a different personality for me. I didn't see myself before as being Chicano or Mexicano until I went to Delano and I realized that's where my family comes from. That's my root.
And going towards more of that, what does Chicano mean to you?
Chicano to me is a new identity. It's the identity of a new generation that comes up. When I think about it, the words Mexican American, Hispanic, Latino, there's a lot of terms that they use. Chicano is one of those terms that came out of the 1940s when the firstborn Mexicano kids were developing lives of their own. But the idea that Chicanos would start to make identity an important thing. The zoot suit was really an identity thing, just like the lowrider is, and that's very important because it represents who we are as a people in terms of our culture, who we are.
If you are not talking about the issues of the world, you are failing yourselves.
What do you hope for all the students to take away from what you just said in the speech that you did?
I hope that young people remember our power. There's nothing that we can't change. The society only works today because everybody came to work. Everybody came and chose to uphold. The society of yesterday is gone. The society of tomorrow is not here. Today, we can change all of this fundamentally, and we can transform it to be whatever we would like it to be. Being a Chicano, well, I'm a very proud Chicano from the north side of Denver, but I'm always very honest that Chicano means that you fundamentally understand our history, that you fundamentally identify with creating, changing your community, and that you're willing to put something at risk, to be willing to lose something for what we believe in, because I think that regardless of what it means to be a Chicano is to struggle. It means to remember that our pieces of ourselves have been chipped away and cut down by a government, by a state. And it's not to say that choosing the state is the wrong decision. It is to say that even when our people don't understand what we are allowed to be whatever we want to be. And being Chicano is a part of that. It's pushing us to think about ourselves differently, to understand that we can be a different people with a different reality.
What does a Chicana mean to you?
Chicana. So Chicana for me is about making sure that all our people have access and opportunity for equity, right? Like we want things to be different. We want to change systemic oppression. We want to make sure that we aren't erased in our communities, right? Like we want to make sure that our traditions, our culture, our languages, that all those continue on to the next generation.